The World Economic Forum ranks climate action failure as the #1 most severe risk on a global scale over the next 10 years. Yet, a recent survey from specialist insurer Beazley saw just 9% of business leaders in the US and in UK ranking environmental concerns as their top risk category for 2022. Insurers and reinsurers have lots of competing priorities and concerns, but pressure to act on climate change has grown. A recent survey from the UN Development Programme with 1.2 million respondents saw 64% of those surveyed claiming a global climate emergency. It is now possible to take action on climate change, but where to start? Matthewman, Director of Product Management for Climate Change at RMS, answers these 3 questions. What's motivating clients to take action on climate change? What are the consequences of inaction? And what steps should insurers take to address this risk? Let's hear from Joss on what's motivating clients to take action on climate change. Is it regulatory pressure, fears around profit and loss, or concerns about ESG risk?
It's all of the above in various mixes. I think, again, it depends on where in the industry you look. Regulatory pressure is undeniable. It has definitely ramped up a lot over the last 3 or 4 years. And that is something where more and more in the industry are having to look at this and having to respond. And then there's a question, which is, if I'm just building my capabilities to tick a box, that's really a wasted opportunity. And I think we've witnessed a growing recognition that as they're doing that exercise, they're starting to realize how it impacts the business side of the balance sheet, so the profit and loss.
What are the consequences of inaction? And how can you establish the impact on profit and loss?
Yeah, so really the impact comes in through all the normal activities which go on within the insurance and reinsurance industry through underwriting and portfolio management. So one example is pricing. So understanding how pricing may change over the next 5 or 10 years' time, because we know that's going to be a fundamental indicator of what the profit and loss will look like over that time period as well. So understanding how it might change before you're having to experience that change is going to be pretty valuable. Another area is portfolio growth and contracting. So we know that businesses have 5 and 10-year business plans for areas on which they will focus in to write more business or write less. So understanding how climate change will make portions of that business more or less attractive is really important. Because then you can understand not only how your current plan will respond to climate change, but also how other plans might perform better. And so you can really adapt what you're doing to take into account this understanding of the impact of climate change over time.
What are some steps that every reinsurer can take to address this risk?
The first one is step 0, so to speak, which is to understand your baseline risk as well as you can, because that really is the foundation of any work which goes towards understanding the impact of climate change on that risk. Then I would say the next step is to really understand what business decisions you're going to be making in response to your understandings around climate change. So will it affect your pricing strategy? Or will it affect how and where you grow your portfolio? So which teams and which decisions is it likely to impact? And then I would say the next step is what analytics, what metrics do you need to answer those questions and to feed into those decisions? And then finally, I think once you've got those steps done, is how do you build that into your day-to-day business? So how are they informing your governance? So where are they feeding into the frontline teams in underwriting and portfolio management, but how also are they feeding the decisions all the way up to board level and forming the broader climate change strategy which can be in place across?
The reasons to take action are because climate change risk and stakeholder pressure is growing. To start the journey towards operationalizing climate change risk within your company, understanding the risk means you know the impact on your business, such as risk selection and pricing, growth and diversification, through to resilience and actions towards carbon reduction. Let us share our experience of working with clients to achieve their climate change goals.